Could I have a word with you, Captain? If I still believed in the grand plan, a revelation like this would have seriously... Knowing you, I can only assume you have already begun formulating a plan to... Yes, of course. Your ability to get out of tight situations virtually undetected. So, tell me what's on your mind. I wouldn't say my parents disowned me. I couldn't understand it. I was...
I've kept myself busy in your absence, optimized my formula. I'm now confident I can revive the remaining colonists. All I need now is the dimethyl sulfoxide. Human test subjects. Oh, that's grotesque. That's Thank you. You've brought me enough chemicals to get started, at least. I'm just sorry they... Those poor people, they must have died in agony. You say the board's trying to freeze their subjects over and over again without inflicting permanent damage? Well, they're nowhere close to solving that problem. Something about this feels wrong. I don't know why the board would ever conduct such an experiment, unless they're working on some kind of hibernation. I'll tell you this much. The board scientists are hopelessly lost. I know! I've suspected as much for years. Of course, I don't expect the board to do a thing about it. They've been driving our colony to the brink of destruction for decades. The board's mismanaged... Hold on. Let me see if I understand this correctly. You're saying that Halcyon's on the brink of total collapse? I always knew Halcyon was heading toward a systems collapse, but I never imagined we were already there. The board made this crisis, and now they want to solve it by freezing the rest of us? That's not a plan. That's a goddamn escape clause. Do you realize what this means for the whole... Short of lining up every member of the board and shooting... Do you know what's waiting for us on the Hope? Scientists... The board's going to dispose of them all and transform the Hope. We need to get... Merciful gibbering law! You're a genius! We bring the Hope to us. Skip the entire ship across the distance of colony space, right next to my lab. Yes, exactly. You're a step ahead of me, but I perceive the shape of your plan. If we link up the Hope to the Unreliable, then use your navigational computer to calculate a reasonably safe vector, we can skip the entire colony ship into the rings of Terra 2.
And that's going to work, without killing us in the process. I thought intra-system microjumps were prohibited for a reason.
Yes, there's always a risk of a catastrophic collision between the Hope and, say, Terra 2, in theory. But
I've got a healthy disregard for personal safety, but this sounds crazy.
your instincts are correct. By any reasonable definition of sanity, this plan is crazy. Isn't it wonderful? You'll need to switch on the Hope's auxiliary power using the Unreliable. Then head to the bridge. Your navigational computer, Ada, should be able to activate the Hope skip drive. Once you've skipped the Hope next to my lab, I'll have easy access to the frozen colonists. I can start reviving them immediately. I know you're wondering why I'm doing all this. Why I believe the people on the Hope are the answer to the colony's problems. The Hope is carrying some of humanity's most brilliant thinkers, scientists, engineers, experts in their field. If we work together, we can still find a way to save Halcyon. The board would have us believe Halcyon is beyond saving. I choose to believe otherwise. If there's even the slightest chance we can save Halcyon from oblivion, then we have to take it. You absolutely should. The adjutant must have sent you some kind of tracking code. If you don't use the code, she'll suspect you betrayed her. I think you should use the code and send a corrupted tracking signal. That should buy me some time. The board's going to catch up to me sooner or later. This way I'll have time to set up some particular... Use my communications terminal to corrupt the tracking signal, while the board busies themselves trying to do... Certainly. It wouldn't surprise me. When I pulled you out of the Hope, the board nearly intercepted me. I expect they stepped up security since my little act of larceny. Skip drives were never designed to be used within a system, but I skipped my ship across Halcyon when I rescued you, and that turned out fine, mostly. That is, I ruined my ship and nearly killed myself in the process, but the maneuver was well within acceptable margins of risk. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Unlikely. The Hope is as massive as the Groundbreaker, but compared to the rings of Terra 2, positively minuscule. The board might notice, possibly, depending on the position of their heads relative to the depth of their collective posteriors. That should do it. You've bought me more than enough time.
Captain, I hope you have a message from Adjutant Sophia Akande.
I'm impressed, Captain. I almost expected you wouldn't go through with it. Unfortunately, Dr. Wells found a way to corrupt the signal before we could pinpoint his location. Still, it's only a matter of time before we find him. Come visit me in Byzantium. We need to have a talk about the future of this colony. Because I'm not in the business of arresting my own allies. You have my word. Meet me in my office. I've authorized your ship at my...
Adjutant Akande has ended her call. Rather rudely, if I might say, considering... We are now in orbit above Byzantium, Captain. Sending a corrupted tracking signal to the board was quite clever, if I might say, Captain. Remember that you are not insured.
So, sneak onto a lost colony ship and skip it across the system? Move along.
Not so fast. All right, you're clear. The adjutant's expecting you. Go on through.
I admit part of me expected you to stand by your old friend. For better or worse, Wells was responsible for putting you back on your feet. That said, he's also a wanted criminal. For information... I understand you've infiltrated the Ministry. The things you discovered there must have been shocking. Halcyon is on the verge of a total systems collapse. The truth is ugly and difficult to accept, but we must accept the truth before we can move forward. Malnutrition is already a problem. Disease will come next, followed by starvation, followed by a breakdown of society, followed by extinction. I know this must come as a surprise to you. I imagine you have questions.
The powerful make the mistakes, and the powerless are left paying the price, as it has always been.
I'm offering decisive action. I can no longer depend on lazy, weak-willed bureaucrats to help.
What's in this for you? There's gotta be an angle. There always is for people like you.
I appreciate your skepticism, Dr. Fenhill, but I'm not doing this for any personal gain. I won't pretend the truth isn't damning. Yes, the colony is on the verge of collapse. I'll answer however... The Lifetime Employment Program is not some malevolent strategy of an evil master. The program is logical. Byzantium is the beating heart of our colony. And as long as Byzantium survives, Halcyon may help me execute the Lifetime Employment. We've already crossed the point of no return. The collapse has already begun. This is a famine is a problem of logistics as well as marketing. I'm sure you remember Dr. Anton Crane. His research was instrumental in developing a powerful appetite suppressant. The solution is a temporary one. Before long, our workers are going to feel the effects of starvation. The Lifetime Employment Program is our only viable option. When you turned Phineas Wells over to me, I knew I could rely on you. And you deliver results. That quality alone. I'm glad to hear that. I can't save this colony alone. I need someone capable of working outside the system. When I first discovered the truth, I was shocked, even disgusted. I wondered how we'd allowed a colony like Halcyon to fall into disarray. But the more I thought, we have become lazy and decadent. I admit, I occasionally fantasize about making an executive decision without having some tedious committee questioning my every move. Do you have any idea how much paperwork is involved in ordering someone's execution? We need to talk about Emerald Vale. You handed Edgewater over to a band of dissidents. I can't have this. Adelaide McDevitt and her people have no place. Edgewater needs to go. I want you to wipe the town out.
I get that you board types are all about efficiency, but isn't it...
I'm asking your captain to amputate a rotting limb from the colony. I'd expect you to understand.
I cannot condone this plan. Wanton...
I don't need you to approve of my plan, Vicar. I need you to... Now is not the time for half measures, Cap. You replaced a loyal, if hard-headed, town leader with a revolutionary. Adelaide's people have turned to Edgewater. These people are dangerous. Because right now, you're the only person I can depend on. Halcyon, I'm not asking you to... Don't fool yourself. The dissidents occupying Edgewater are rebels harboring dangerous and seditious ideas. Left to their own devices, their numbers will grow. Graham Bryant and his merry band of morons caused enough trouble on Monarch. I won't risk this. Edgewater is beyond saving. You were in the Emerald Vale geothermal plant. You've been paying attention. In fact, Spacer's Choice manufactured the... The insurance claim has been locked in committee for years. I'm arranging for a delivery of mechanicals to Edgewater. One last thing. Report back to me when the job's done.
Adjutant Akande has instructed me to reward you for information leading to the arrest of Phineas Wells. Please allow me to extend my felicitations on a job well done. Quite so, madam.
Didn't realize you were an ex-con, Vicar.
Technically, I was a priest, not a prisoner.
Oh, so you could leave whenever you wanted.
No, I had to fulfill my duties first.
Then you had a sentence.
Not exactly.
You just got a lot more interesting, creature.
Do we really need all the security?
We have arrived at the Hope. I need you to reroute power from our ship to the Hope's auxiliary generator. You'll have to connect me to the Hope's comm system so I can convince her central computer to enable the skip drive. If your calculations are even slightly off, you could crash the entire colony ship or the sun. The Hope is the Groundbreaker's prettier, sleeker sister. She wandered off and got lost for 70 years, but just recently was found. Also, Stay safe out there.
So, sneak onto a lost colony ship and skip it across the system? What could go wrong?
Power's out, Captain.
You know, when they posted us here, I told them there wasn't any point. Shows how much I know. You've got about 5 seconds. Explode? All right. You'll want a uniform so my staff doesn't shoot you on sight. They're dangerous. We've got a few extra in the old badge station to my right.
We've got a fight on our hands. Captain, you're wounded!
Can we talk? So we're really gonna do this? I've seen lots of crazy, Captain, but do you really think he knows what he's doing? Sending us to skip the Hope into Terra 2's orbit right under the board? There's a sobering thought. I think his whole plan... Coming from anyone else, that would sound like a line for... Still, all this depends... You're too trusting, and I'm gonna remember that when I negotiate for... Well, whenever... Anything else?
Good luck.
Looking good, soldier.
process. Sweet.
Here they come!
So, sneak onto a lost colony ship and skip it across the system? What could go wrong? So we're... Do you... Anything else?
Can you hear me, Captain? I have... I see you've located the stasis chambers. Which pod were you slumbering in for so...
This must be unsettling for you, Captain.
Should we assign Sam for a cleanup?
That does it. I'm never, ever getting in one of those pods.
That's the Hope's computer up ahead. I'll admit, I am curious. Greetings, Captain. I am speaking to you through the Hope's computer system. It's a Probably not, but don't let that stop you. My constellation execute. Searching. Please stand by. Ah, found one. It will go great, Captain. Are you sure? and also potentially kill an entire planet. How is my humor now, Captain? Jump-starting the skip drive. Destination... I wouldn't advise that, Captain.
In case I don't get another chance to say it, it's been interesting, Cap.
Admitting a deficit? My, you never cease to...
ADN, does your captain seriously intend to do a micro-jump in system with engines that haven't been powered in 70 years, on a derelict ship?
That is what my captain intends, yes.
But that is a gross misuse of the skip drive. The Zero Point Drives Corp and I will not be held responsible for any death.
Yes, I am aware.
You should not be doing this.
Thank you, Hope. It looks like all systems are go. Captain, I would advise you to hold... Oh, good. We are still alive and have successfully skipped into Terra 2's orbit. I reported as much to Phineas Wells, but he has not responded. Perhaps you should check in on him.
Did we move? I hardly felt a thing.
Was that an attempt at humor, Doctor? Certain levels of drollness are difficult for me to discern.
Thought I saw something.
I'll keep it down.
What? Huh? What was that?
Rose surprise.
Captain, I am receiving Captain, I shall now play the transmission I received from Dr. Wells.
Thank the law you warned me. I was able to get some defenses up, but they might not be enough. The board has sent some serious firepower to pry me out of here. They're trying to get in here, and I'm not sure I can stop them. If they capture me, if we can't communicate again, there's something very important you need to remember. The board, all their lackeys, they're all a bunch of swine. Do you hear me? They're fucking corporate swine. You fucking pigs! I'll take you all out with me! I'll never...
It would seem the recording captured some rather dire events. I presume you'll want to dock at the orbital lab to check on your associate. How can I be of assistance? May luck be with you. Of course, as I am sure you are aware, luck does not exist. But... Now arriving at Phineas's top-secret orbital lab.
Here they come!
Take your best shot, asshole!
Careful, you're hurt!
Muting volume now.
You gotta teach me that.
Captain, as it appears we may soon be embarking for a maximum security prison, I believe the crew would like to speak with you to, as you humans put it,
So, Phineas got himself taken to Tartarus. That's usually a one-way trip.
And here we are, entertaining the notion of busting him out. That's insane. And likely a hell of a lot of fun.
To extract the scientist, you will need to infiltrate the labyrinth. But that course of action is likely to be quite dangerous, Captain. I am programmed to warn you whenever you exhibit inclinations toward risky behavior. Breaking into Tartarus will not be easy.
Getting in is the simple part. It's getting out again that's the trouble. Trust me, I know.
Let's just do it. Kick down some doors, grab Doc Wells, and cut a path out. We don't need a plan. We got guns.
If you really mean to do this, you should see to your final affairs and close out any unfinished business. Once you sneak into Tartarus, you may be there a while. Or permanently.
It's the craziest plan I've ever heard. And I mean that as a compliment.
You didn't hire me to think. And I ain't about to start now. You're my boss. And I'll walk into fire with you.
I think it's insane. But maybe the colony needs a healthy dose of insanity right about now.
I know it's dangerous. And I won't lie and say I'm not scared out of my wits. But I couldn't live with myself if we didn't do something.
You're asking for more than bravery from us, Captain. But there are worse ways to go than dying for a good cause. I'm in.
Let Sam get the grime out. It's what our units do best.
The entire plan is a terrible idea, but I admire your bravado, Captain, which leads me to illogically believe, against the odds, that you will be successful.
If we don't make it, at least it'll be a great story.
Got my trusty tossball stick, got my ass-kicking boots. I'm ready, boss.
Outstanding.
You can count on us, Captain. We're crew. For real crew. That means we got each other's backs. Right?
Never thought I'd volunteer to break into a prison. Seems like your tendency towards risky behavior is rubbing off on me, Captain.
Command not recognized.
Waiting on your command, Captain. I am pleased to inform you that we have arrived at the labyrinth. Please be advised that the punishment for trespassing is execution. Please be advised that electrical storms on the surface of Tartarus make departure impossible at this time. Resident count is as follows: 3,071. Resident deaths. The interior can be chilly. I would also... Understood. Oh.
Attention, unauthorized spacecraft. This is a maximum security installation. Your presence here is you are hereby confined to your... Your ship is not permitted to leave until you remit only...
Captain, I would not recommend...
Protocol is important. The wait.
Transmission. How can I request...
Captain did right by us once.
What?
Now it's our turn. The board will never own Groundbreaker. Not while I breathe. Push on, Margaret!
Alert! Sir, alert!
Oh, that's the last of him.
Who's that? Clean up the competition. Pick up all spilled crew members. Preparing body bags for use. Error. Owner not found.
The Captain did right by us
What
once.
was that?
Now it's our turn. The board will never own Groundbreaker. Not while I breathe. Push on, Margaret!
Performance evaluation is sterling. Entering quiet mode.
Heads up!
Resistance is resistant to cooling effort. Don't forget to wash your wounds.
Everyone all right?
What's that? Caution! Infestation encroaching! Would you like Sam to tidy up this area? Waiting for confirmation command. Confirmation command not received.
Looks like we're doing this.
Dispensing body bag.
The captain did right by us once. Now it's our turn. The board will never own Groundbreaker. Not while I reign. Push on, Mardat.
Heads up! Somebody get Sam!
Would you like Sam to tidy up this area? Waiting for confirmation command. Confirmation command, not.
Heads up, boss!
Would you like Sam to tidy up this area? Waiting for confirmation command. Confirmation command, not received.
What? What was that? Jackass isn't coming!
Would you like Sam to tidy up this area? Waiting for confirmation command. Confirmation command, not received.
shadows.
Alert! Fight dirty! Clean up the competition!
Bring him down!
You're right!
Waste of company ammo.
Lead the way, boss. I got your back.
Heads up, boss!
Invasive contaminant detected.
Let's go, troops. Stellar base counting on us.
look who it is. I'll be damned. I was prepping the studio for our announcement, and here you... And I see you've brought the kid along. Babysitters may be expensive, but...
Yeah, keep talking, pal. I'll just keep thinking of a place to bury your body.
And... Oh, I had heard you were dragging around a repurposed janitorial mechanic.
Interactive database updated. The unique organic substance labeled Chairman has been classified as filth, imminent for incineration.
When you go off and get yourself shot, try to avoid taking one to the face. I'll want it recognizable to show to my citizen. My word! You've correct... It's... Yes, he is an extraordinarily obstinate fellow, isn't he? But that's between us. As far as my adoring citizens will know, we've turned a dangerous crackpot into a... Oh yes, go on, wake them up, add more mouths to feed. That'll solve our starvation problems. I don't know what half-baked plans that simpleton and... Let me ask you something, Captain. Have you at any point thought about not fucking up...
Are you kidding me? We're out here trying to clean up your mess.
We don't... I'll admit, there's no shortage of talent in the scientists and engineers there. Look, I'm not an unreasonable man. If you manage to storm the castle, as it were, I can't exactly afford more havoc than you've all...
Are you out of your mind? Rockwell's the biggest monster in Halcyon. You got any idea how many lives he's... I've had enough. You even think of... You're damn right it is.
If you're gonna place more faith on this brat than the chairman of the fuck...
What was that? Infestation encroaching!
All right, MSI. I'm not one for rousing speeches, but the captain needs our help. So, get in there and... fight!
Difficult job ahead? Consider equipping a pack of Sam's special solvent stain-out remover. It's ruthless on residual blood splatter.
All right, boss. I'm ready. Let's do this.
Captain, you have an uncanny talent for complicating my life. You've been working with Dr. Wells from the beginning. When we moved to arrest him, he was prepared. You've disrupted the balance of power. You've upset the net. I'm afraid I'm aware of your diplomatic talents, Captain. You have a gift for manipulation. For all your talents... You make a nuanced and... Dr. Wells is being off. Fair enough. Yes, That isn't true. Damn you. You are telling the truth. My scientists have been lying to me. We're going to have to start all over again. All that research. You were always an unknown variable. I tried to recruit you. This prison is equipped.
effort.
That's the last of him!
Why won't you just...
Detected.
Get me out of here!
You don't know how glad I am to see you. You did the right thing. Akande was a monster. Her death was much deserved, and long overdue. And you lunatic, you broke into the board's own fortress just to rescue one doddering old man. You are absolutely out of your mind, and I can't begin to thank you enough. I'm all right, thanks to you. Akande wanted my cooperation. I'm quite sure she would have beaten it out of me if you hadn't arrived. You've broken the board's stranglehold on this colony, and you saved my life. But there's still so much we have yet to accomplish. You and I are going to have to work harder than ever to save Halcyon. Earth has gone dark. We haven't received a single message in 3 years. There's been no communication, no signal. 2 years ago, the Earth's Directorate's frigate disappeared on their way back to Earth. We don't know what they discovered when they arrived, or if they arrived at all.
Hold on, Doc. Are you telling me the Earth went dark 3 years ago, and the board's just been covering this up?
They've been incredibly effective at concealing the truth. Right now, the only people in the colony who know are standing in this room. We're in serious trouble, my friend. Do you know what this means for Halcyon? We can't rely on Earth for support anymore. Yes, we do. You've done a marvelous thing. We must begin the revival process immediately, starting with the Hope's brightest minds. And then we're going to fix... We're going to need a leader. And I can't imagine... When I revived you, I thought you were going to help me save this colony. I had our roles reversed, you see. You're the one who's going to save us all. You're the best thing to ever happen to Halcyon. If you want to take it upon yourself to lead this colony, we're not a colony any longer, are we? Our last connection to Earth has been severed, and so... Our future is uncertain, and no one knows what tomorrow holds.
The OSI teaches that everything in the universe happens according to the grand plan. But the stranger that arrived in Halcyon was an unplanned variable. From the moment he landed in Emerald Vale, his actions altered the course of history. The events on Tartarus brought about the end of the board's authority. But the board's mistakes would haunt the colony for decades to come. The damage they left behind would require the work of a generation to repair. Dr. Phineas Wells began reviving a handful of the Hope's colonists. Engineers, scientists, technicians, and intellectuals. They were among the brightest minds the Earth had ever sent out into the stars. The Hope scientists and engineers woke up in a colony descending headlong into total collapse. With no way to return to Earth, they had no choice but to band together and devote themselves to the cause of saving Halcyon. The people of Halcyon were nothing if not hardy. In the absence of the board's authority, many of the colony's settlements banded together with a single purpose in mind: survival. Life was especially hard in the years to come. Some towns dissolved by attrition and starvation, but most of them found a way to carry on. In the years to come, Halcyon was forced to reckon with its newfound freedom. The board was gone, and for better or worse, the colony was responsible for its own destiny. Between MSI's worker-centric policies and the iconoclast's manpower, Sanjar and Zora were able to rally many of the Terra 2 townships to their cause. MSI's workforce swelled, and the iconoclasts enjoyed a significant surge in their ranks. The board was too distracted by infighting and internal politics to stop MSI from becoming a powerful corporation and a refuge for townships that might have fallen through the cracks. Consumed by paranoia, Lilia Hagen took Sublight Salvage in a controversial direction, openly accusing board officials of an extraterrestrial conspiracy. One day, an accident at the Groundbreaker's docking bay silenced her forever. Time would tell if her replacement could keep the Sublight family together. Adelaide McDevitt replaced Reed Thompson as the leader of Edgewater. She and her followers transformed Edgewater in their image. Anyone loyal to Reed was pressured into leaving town, and those who stayed behind adapted to her way of life. Adelaide transformed the old cannery into a new garden. The nearby Edgewater Cemetery provided a convenient source of fertilizer. As for Reed Thompson, it was said that he lasted exactly 2 days outside the walls of Edgewater. Years later, a marauder was found in possession of his hat. Under the leadership of Junlei Tennyson, the Groundbreaker held firm against corporate influence. The ship's mechanical stability gave Junlei the time to educate a promising generation of engineers schooled in her family's traditions. The future of the Groundbreaker looks promising. The rediscovery of the Hope and the abandonment of the lifetime employment program forced Byzantium to come to terms with some uncomfortable realities about the state of Halcyon. While Byzantines were reluctant to surrender the luxuries they'd grown accustomed to, the board's diminished authority gave them little choice in the matter. Nearly everyone had to learn to make do with less. Some even had to get jobs. It was a dark time indeed. Even the Gorgon asteroid, though a distant enigma to most of Halcyon, felt the aftershocks of your actions. The destroyed Adrenatime synthesizer became a symbol of the board's cruelty and a rallying point for Wells and his scientists as they sought to build a more humane, ethical Halcyon. They cleared the dead from Gorgon's laboratories and repurposed them to aid in the crucial work of solving the colony's nutrition crisis. Gorgon, which had once sown death and destruction across Halcyon, became a source of hope and renewal. The Gorgon Project's final explosive end was bittersweet for Olivia Ambrose. She wandered the colony's fringes alone, searching for others like her who despised the board and meant to destroy them. In time, she found Phineas Wells and his cadre of scientists, and she joined them in their efforts to save Halcyon. For a while, she even knew an uneasy peace. But for all that, Olivia found purpose in Wells' project. She was always haunted by the memory of her daughter, Minnie, who hadn't lived to see the better world they were building. She never did forgive herself for the horror her work had wrought on Halcyon, but she remembered fondly the daring captain who'd put an end to it at last. In spite of everything, the Gorgon asteroid remained a sobering reminder of the potential for progress and disaster in humanity's most ambitious efforts. The Rizzo's company in Halcyon dissolved after the collapse of the board. Needless to say, the launch of Spectrum Brown was indefinitely delayed. A stockpile of Spectrum Brown remains buried deep beneath the ruins of the old distillery, abandoned to time and attrition. With the dissolution of the board, Ruth Bellamy found herself without the two constants in her life, Byzantine culture and her sister Belinda. In the face of this new reality, she struggled to find a direction for her life. The colony had moved on from Halcyon Helen and would require new heroes in the years to come. And so Ruth Bellamy decided it was time to exit stage left. She quietly disappeared from public view. The dissolution of the board did not mean the dissolution of the ambitions of Cedric Kincannon, the charismatic leader of Sublight Underground. Cedric offered Slug's transportation services to the newly thawed colonists and set to work ferrying resources and food wherever they were most needed. For better or worse, Slug headgear became fashionable in the following year. As the board began to disintegrate, Spencer Woolrich found himself at a crossroads. Cling to what little stardom remained to him, or help usher Halcyon into its new future. To the surprise of many, perhaps himself most of all, Spencer chose the latter option. Having learned a variety of different skills in the many different roles played throughout his lengthy career, Spencer founded a radio serial dedicated to staying alive despite the odds. His subjects included how to survive violent encounters with only grazing wounds, dispense pithy one-liners for tense scenarios, and, of course, how to look good doing both. After a brief attempt at dating Helen as one person rather than two, which both Bertie and Helen found too strange, Bertie struck out on his own to try his hand at raising woolly cows. Many of his former Rangers teammates soon followed, accompanied by the woolly cow the team had originally plied with alcohol. The dairy farm thrived under Bertie's leadership and care. The Dairy Rangers privately believed that the woolly cows softened Bertie's temper considerably, although the only one brave enough to say this to his face was promptly headbutted. Due to the board's dissolution, many of the Prophet's old customers no longer found quite the same value in productivity seminars that they once had. With her business drying up, the Prophet chose to take her followers down a new path. Months later, salvagers on Eridanos found clues leading them to a seemingly abandoned bunker out in the wilderness. Inside, they discovered horribly mangled corpses, sacrificed to a blood-scrawled portrait of a sprat-headed deity. The Prophet was not among the bodies. Your influence further cemented Ellie's perspective. She understood she could never truly rely on others, so she set about making sure she wouldn't have to. With a steady income from the life insurance payouts, she was finally able to afford a ship of her own. She enjoyed a long and infamous career running missions across the system. Some of them were even legal. Life in Halcyon was sobering for Felix Millstone. The grand revolution he dreamed of never came. There was no great awakening for the colony, no celebrations in the streets. There was only the hard, desperate work of trying to repair a broken colony. Felix never had a head for numbers, but if there was labor to be done, he was there to help. Eventually, Felix realized that the work of a revolution was done with two hands. As much as he enjoyed his adventures aboard the Unreliable, the vicar, known as Max, eventually decided that it was time to move on, to live out the life he had sought so long to create. He knew there were many in the colony who carried burdens much worse than the ones he had struggled with, and he devoted himself to easing their suffering wherever he could. He only ever took up arms again to defend the defenseless, unshackled from a lifetime of striving and fighting the universe and himself. Vicar Maximilian de Soto was finally at peace. Once the matter with the Hope colonists was resolved, Junlei bashfully asked Parvati if she'd like to join her permanently on the Groundbreaker, and Parvati enthusiastically, if somewhat awkwardly, agreed. The stories of her adventures spread across the colony, and Parvati soon found herself the center of attention. Having served as the engineer of a renowned spacecraft, tramp freighters and wildcat miners sought her out by name, and in no time, she was a fixture in the Groundbreaker's mechanical ecosystem. She and Junlei were never far apart. Nyoka returned to Monarch to take another crack at making a permanent life for herself. She formed the Charon Group, a mercenary outfit of ragtag survivalists and wilderness experts. Anyone in need of a guide, or just looking to throw back a beer and swap stories, could find her camping on the trail or clearing an infestation. The SAM unit that accompanied you spread awareness of the product line's superior sanitation and maintenance capabilities across what was left of the colony. This led to a boost in SAM unit sales. Did you know that SAM units are the longest-lasting, toughest-acting cleaning solution in Halcyon? Minister Clark was released from house arrest, and his contact with you gave him a sense of renewed purpose and vigor. Once it became clear that no help would be coming from Earth, he threw his considerable efforts and talents into helping Halcyon manage the crisis before it. As for Dr. Phineas Wells, he spent his remaining years in his orbital lab. He eventually came to terms with his own past and was able to forgive the mistakes of his younger self by devoting his remaining years to serving the colony. Dr. Wells was able to revive many more scientists and engineers than he first expected, thanks to the additional batch of chemicals you stole from the Ministry. Wells never forgot about the human lives that were lost in acquiring these chemicals. In the end, Dr. Wells was able to save every scientist and engineer aboard the Hope. Over the next decade, nearly all of the Hope's remaining colonists were successfully revived. Halcyon saw a period of rapid technological and scientific advancement. Breakthroughs in dietary supplements saved the colony from starvation. Geoengineering projects and social reforms began to change the structure and character of the colony. Dr. Wells laid the groundwork for the project to save the colony, but he would never live to see the fruits of his labor. He passed away a few years later. His work was carried on by the scientists and engineers he revived. Today, Halcyon has stabilized. The people of the colony work hard to adapt to their new circumstances. Nearby colonies send aid and supplies. Life will never be easy in Halcyon, but for the first time in its history, there exists a sense of real, genuine hope about the future. And what about you? The unplanned variable in the history of Halcyon. Long after Wells passed away, you carried on his work with more energy, determination, and brilliance than he could ever muster. The years that followed were hard, but Halcyon survived by the efforts of the Hope's most promising colonists, the greatest of which was you. No one knows what's happened to Earth, and no one knows what the future has in store for Halcyon. All we know for certain is this: the name of the Unreliable and that of its intrepid captain will remain the subject of countless stories for years to come.
Buonasera ragazzi. Finalmente abbiamo concluso anche il primo capitolo di The Outer Worlds. Beh, si può dire che l'ho finito con il finale tra neutro e buono. Ho salvato l'universo e ora bisogna solo rivedere il futuro migliore. Appena avrò la possibilità vedrò di acquistarmi anche il secondo capitolo, così vedremo come andrà a finire quello che è successo, riconoscendo la parte canonica. Va bene raga, io penso che mi fermo qua. Grazie a tutti per la compagnia, spero che questa serie vi sia piaciuta. Ci becchiamo ovviamente in settimana. Vi auguro tutti una buona serata e buonanotte.